So hello, my name is Jeff Ojemann. I'm a neurosurgeon at the University of Washington. I have a practice at Seattle Children's Hospital and Harborview Medical Center in both pediatric and adult neurosurgery, primarily focusing on the treatment of medically refractory seizures. One of the things our lab and many others have done is identified signals that are associated with specific cognitive or motor tasks. So we can see changes that are very focal during specific movements, specific language functions, or other cognitive steps. These signals and their specificity then has really opened the door to use these as control signals for a wide variety of applications. We're particularly interested in how they apply to the neuroprosthetic world. For example, you can imagine the utility of being able to have a brain signal that's associated with index finger movement, and this have a separable signal that's associated with thumb movement, and understand how those two come together to achieve a pitch. And so if you can extract that information, that has enormous applicability to the neuroprosthetic and functional neurorestorative world. So what we really need are devices that not just have solid recording that's going to be stable for a very long time, but also allow us to deliver current to the brain in ways that mimic what we've done clinically, but to use them ultimately for clinical purposes. Our ultimate goal is to use stimulation and recording and to link them together in a way that allows us to engineer plasticity within the brain. I've had the benefit of working for the past 10 years with our engineers and neuroscientists through the National Science Foundation Engineering Research Center, the Center for Neurotechnology. That's at the University of Washington and also at other collaborative institutions. And one of the things we're trying to do is to use this term engineered plasticity to guide us in our research. We've looked to different corporate partners in this work as well. And one of the things that's very exciting is in CorTec's system, the brain interchange device that lets us both record and stimulate in a very reliable, very long-term fashion. As we look at the animal data that's coming from this group and some of the other research, it's a very exciting path forward. One of the major advantages of the CorTec system being fully implantable is that this brain interchange platform technology allows us to do all of the above. So you have a high number of channels because I don't know exactly what part of the brain I need to drive my signal from. It's a closed loop system, so it's all packaged together, the ability to record and the ability to deliver stimulation. You don't have to dive into the brain. So although depth electrodes and microarrays are well tolerated, the ability to remove them or even later remove them is not the same. And then finally, the operational lifespan, because there are no batteries in the brain interchange technology, it allows us to do studies that will be much longer and ultimately an application to take all the power generation outside of the body and modulate it as we need it. So we can do very high power requirement procedures in the office, for instance, and then maybe have a different approach when somebody is at home. I think that one of the other big advantages of the CorTec Brain Interchange platform is the interchangeability. So you have both a system that lets you interface wirelessly, so you aren't locking in a particular processor or a particular power source. And even though the initial setup does require a certain set of arrays, you can certainly imagine in the future how this could be more flexible. And I think that's a critical part of the entire field, that we don't develop platforms that lock us into one specific approach, since we will rapidly understand better ways of measuring and of stimulating as the field progresses. So I think we're on the cusp of a revolution in neuroprosthetic therapies and functional restoration. This will be the combination of our understanding of neuroscience, our computational power, and our ability to understand and get approved devices that can quickly be introduced into the clinical setting. It's been a pleasure to work with colleagues in both science and industry as we make these visions a reality.